Here we go. So, who am I? My name's Bob. I'm an alumni, got a master's in computer science, bachelor's in computer engineering. Worked for a couple years at DreamWorks Animation on How to Train Your Dragon 2 and stuff like that. But these days I've been working on self-driving cars. So if you're wondering how you go from working on animated features to working on self-driving cars, this is how you do that. This is an actual chat log for my friend Austin Hendricks. He just pings me out of the blue one day. Having awesome friends in college really helps. This is a picture of Junior, which is Stanford self-driving car. And the startup that I'm working at now kind of forked off from the Stanford self-driving car team. So we're going to talk about how to fix a bug in Junior. Because it does some really stupid things. It needs to learn. So, like, how do self-driving cars work, right? Like, I'm assuming most people in this room don't know, because any, sufficiently advanced technology appears like magic. So, for most of us, it's probably magic. So let's demystify that a little bit. So there's three main pieces of a self-driving car. The first one is the localizer. So the localizer tells you where you are in the world. So in this case, we're taking a bunch of returns from our laser scanner, and we're matching them up with our laser map. Right? And so we're like, hey, we're pretty confident that we're right here because like this kind of looks like that. The second big piece is the perception system. So this takes blobs of laser points and tries to figure out like what's in the world around us. So like pedestrians would be good to classify so we don't hit them. Same thing with cars and bicyclists and other things in the world, right? So the perception system does that. The planner is the last piece of the puzzle. And it basically says, okay, now that we're in the world, we know what else is in the world, where do we go and what do we do, right? So the planner here plots trajectories for the car, and then the car drives those trajectories and takes you where you want to go. And it has kind of a high-level view of the system. So the bug. Okay, so what would happen is Junior would proceed through an intersection, and then someone would walk out. So these blue blobs are pedestrians. They would walk out of the intersection, and Junior would stop and hang out while there were people behind it in the crosswalk. So this was an actual video of the simulator of this happening, right? So we pull up to an intersection, we're just generating a bunch of simulated pedestrians, right? We'll see the pedestrians part. Junior proceeds through the intersection and goes, oh my God, there's pedestrians there! So this is the pseudocode of what was going on here, right? So we grabbed some crosswalks from the intersection, okay, the ones that are on our trajectory. And then for each one of those crosswalks, if it's occupied, we'll know it's not safe to go. This is wrong, right? Because we don't care about crosswalks. We don't care about crosswalks that are behind us, right? We only care about crosswalks that are in front of us on the trajectory. So we need to impart some knowledge into the car so that it will do something a little bit more sensible. Now, it's safe by default, I guess, which is good. So let's get some math. Okay, so our crosswalk, right, can be defined as a line between 2 points. And this is where our car is, which is another point. We can create two vectors, right, originating from the same point. And the really cool thing about some vector math is that there's a unique property of the cross product of two vectors, which is that if you take the cross product of this vector and this vector, the result will be either positive or negative, and that tells you which side this vector is of the other vector. Which is really neat, because then I can say, oh, am I on this side of the crosswalk, or am I on that side of the crosswalk? And most importantly, I can look to see when that sign changes to know that I've passed it, right? And then I can mark that crosswalk as, we've been here, don't need to pay attention to pedestrians here anymore. So when the car's in the intersection, we can say, don't look at this intersection or crosswalk, there's people in it, it's fine. Now there's one little piece of the puzzle here too. We really only want to look for that sign crossing when we're kind of inside this region where the trajectory is crossing the crosswalk. And that's because this is an infinite line, right? If the road comes down here like this and comes back up to the crosswalk, we'll mark it passed before we reach it, and then promptly ignore all the pedestrians in the crosswalk, which is not good. So, very important to consider possible cases. Even though we have a simple test case to examine that, we need to think of kind of all the possible situations that can happen. So this is a result when you apply a little bit of math, and you can get something cool out of it. So the pedestrians will part. And you'll wait and say, hey, it can go. And they jump in, but he keeps going. He's like, screw you guys. You're not a problem anymore. Now, once I created this test case, I started having a little fun. Like, can we trap Junior in the intersection, right? Ha! And if then the pedestrians part, will he figure out that it's safe to go, right? Yeah! All right, cool. Math works. That's exciting. So, when you're solving bugs, you frequently find other bugs. So this test case was not passing, and I was like, why? It says I'm hitting pedestrians. Turns out the collision mass was shifted by half the length of the car. Which is bad. But we reran the test suite and everything still passed, so that was good. So there's my 15 seconds of advertising. Any of these things you're awesome at, or you know someone's awesome at, please talk to me. Because we're a startup, we're hiring people, and we need awesome people to do these things. So yeah, that's how you solve it.